Behind the Colosseum's roar, in the Gladiator barracks, lived a man named Milo. He was a gladiator, fighter in the brutal games of ancient Rome. But Milo's life wasn't all about glory and honor. It was hard and scary. Every morning when the sun peeked over the rooftops, Milo would wake up before everyone else. The air in the barracks was always thick with the smells of sweat, dirty laundry, and old blood. He shared a room with about 20 other gladiators, all sleeping on hard wooden beds. The walls were bare except for a few scratched and faded paintings of gods and battles. After a quick breakfast of watery soup and stale bread, it was time for training. The exercises were tough, meant to make the strongest men even stronger. Wrestling, sword fighting, and spear throwing went on for hours. By midday, Milo's arms and legs would be shaking with exhaustion. Sometimes the training was interrupted by fights, not just with wooden swords, but with the real thing. If you lost a fight, you didn't just go home. You got hurt, sometimes very badly. When the sun began its slow journey towards the horizon, training ended. Then came the most exciting part of the day for many gladiators: gambling. They placed their hard-earned cash on chariots racing around a track or on men fighting with nets and tridents. Gambling was a chance to earn some extra money, but also to watch other people fight and get hurt. It was a bit like watching TV, only much more real. After gambling, it was supper time. The food wasn't great. Think watery soup, tough meat, and maybe some fruit if you were lucky. Then it was back to the barracks. More fighting, more gambling. Some gladiators liked this life, the danger, the excitement. But for Milo, he just wanted something different, something better. He dreamed of a farm in the countryside, far away from the noise and the crowds. He imagined waking up early, tending fields and animals, eating fresh food grown by his own hands. But being a gladiator wasn't just a job, it was a way of life. If you were a gladiator, you couldn't just quit. You had to finish your contract, which could take years. And if you broke your contract, well, no one knew what would happen to you. Even though life was hard, Milo trained every day. He was good at it, really good. People started to notice him. They'd clap and cheer when he fought. Some even bet on him because they knew he was strong and smart. As he fought, Milo thought about his dream farm. He'd saved some money, and soon he'd have enough to buy a small place outside the city. Maybe one day he'd have his own home and a family. A wife and kids running around. It wasn't much to ask, was it? But being a gladiator wasn't just about hard work and dreams, it was about survival. Every time Milo stepped into the arena, he put his life in the hands of the crowd. If they liked him, he might live to fight another day. If they didn't, well, it was over for him. As the years passed, Milo kept fighting. He became famous throughout Rome. People looked up to him. Some wanted to be like him, but inside, Milo was sad. All the fame, all the cheering, it couldn't take away the longing in his heart. One day, while training in the barracks, Milo heard about a group of gladiators planning to escape. They wanted to run away from Rome and start new lives. Freedom, that was something worth fighting for. Then he could buy that farm. Maybe then he could finally be happy. That night, under the cover of darkness, Milo made his move. With a few close friends, he slipped out of the barracks. Together, they stole a ship and sailed away from the city, away from the life they once knew. The wind in their sails, the taste of freedom on their lips. They left behind the roar of the crowd, the smell of the Colosseum, the ghosts of gladiators past. Centuries later, the earth still holds quiet traces of their struggles. Archaeologists have uncovered gladiator graveyards, their bones speaking softly of lives once lived. Careful study reveals patterns of repeated injuries, signs of healed fractures, and the brutal toll of combat. Some graves hint at respect, organized burials, small offerings, even inscriptions marking a man's role in the arena. Others suggest loneliness, a life ended without ceremony. These silent remains remind us that behind the roar of crowds were fragile human bodies, worn down by endless contests. Through these discoveries, we glimpse both suffering and an echo of dignity, preserved in stone and soil. While gladiators endured hardship, above them, emperors and senators reclined in comfort. From cushioned seats, they watched with casual interest as lives were risked below. Perfumed breezes drifted from attendants' fans. Silver cups held chilled wine, and trays of delicacies were passed among guests. For the elite, the games were not about survival, but spectacle, an afternoon's diversion beneath the Roman sun. The stark contrast is striking. Sweat and fear in the dust of the arena, laughter and luxury in the shaded stands. These two worlds coexisted, separated only by the walls of the amphitheater, yet divided by an immeasurable gulf. And so the story of Rome's gladiators unfolds as one of contrasts. Men confined to barracks and trained for death. A lone rebel who challenged empire. Silent graves that whisper of hidden suffering and emperors who treated it all as passing entertainment. When you think of them now, you may imagine the clash of swords and roaring crowds. Yet beneath that image lies a slower truth. Long days, heavy burdens, and fleeting lives lived for another's amusement. As you drift into rest, be thankful for the quiet and safety of your own time. Far removed from the dust and danger of the Roman arena, the harsh realities of their existence are evident in the medical literature of the time, which describes the gruesome injuries gladiators sustained and the desperate measures taken to keep them alive. Bones were broken, skulls were fractured, and muscles were torn. Treatments were as painful as the wounds themselves, involving the application of leeches, the use of setons, and the cauterization of wounds. Life expectancy was grim, with many gladiators dying young, and their careers often cut short by serious injury or exhaustion. Archaeological evidence, such as the discovery of mass graves and the analysis of skeletal remains, have allowed modern scholars to gain a deeper understanding of the physical toll that gladiators endured. By studying the remains, researchers have been able to identify common injuries and illnesses among gladiators, providing insight into the dangers and hardships they faced on a daily basis. Despite the brutality of their profession, there were ways to achieve a certain level of renown as a gladiator. A skilled fighter could earn the admiration of spectators and even gain their support. Some gladiators became so popular that they were given public spectacles in their honor after their retirement. This recognition, however, was often short-lived, and the transition from the arena to civilian life was difficult. Many gladiators struggled to find work after retiring, and were forced to rely on the generosity of their fans or the employment of former opponents. For those who had fought in the most brutal and bloody battles, reintegrating into society was almost impossible. They were often seen as dangerous and unpredictable, making it hard to find work or housing. The world of the Roman Empire is one of contrasts, a civilization known for its art, architecture, and culture, but also for its cruelty and oppression. In the heart of this empire, there existed a group of people whose lives were dedicated to fighting to the death, the gladiators. These men, some born into slavery, others free, were brought together by fate to fight in the infamous Colosseum. But their stories are not just about bloodshed and violence. They are also stories of courage, resilience, and the will to survive. Their lives were a mixture of intense training, deadly battles, and moments of quiet camaraderie. In the quiet moments between fights, they formed bonds of friendship that helped them endure the horrors of the arena. Despite the constant threat of death, they found solace in each other's company. Sharing stories and hopes for a better future outside the Colosseum. As you sleep tonight, surrounded by the comforts of your own life, remember the gladiators who fought and died in the arenas of ancient Rome. Their bravery and resilience in the face of danger continue to inspire awe, and their humanity reminds us of the shared experiences that connect us all. So let their story be a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope and courage can prevail. Let us remember that even amidst the grit and grime of ancient Rome, dreams of green fields and blue skies could flourish. And perhaps that is the most enduring testament to the human spirit, the unbreakable desire for a better tomorrow. Sleep well. Dream of open spaces and gentle breezes. May your sleep be as deep as the Roman Colosseum, and may your dreams be as bright as the stars that shone on Milo's daring escape. Till next time.